People often ask me how they should start in property, or how to build a property portfolio, how to invest into properties, how to be successful in property. Now, my personal property portfolio is built upon simple principles of buying undervalued properties, playing the property market, property prices increasing, and then refinancing, taking equity out of them and reinvesting that into property again. I'm going to today show you guys a very simple model of how you can exercise the same business model that I have to successfully build my portfolio, and starting with just £10,000, how you can create £1 million portfolio. Now, I haven't done these calculations myself before, but I just know that using these principles and using the historic trends of the property market, using £10,000, you can quite quickly build £1 million portfolio. So stay with me on this one. If you're interested in property, if you want to create £1 million property portfolio using just £10,000, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it now using the principles I have to build my own portfolio. So guys, today I'm going to tell you how using just £10,000 you can create a £1 million property portfolio. So in essence, how you can become a property millionaire. So, and this is a strategy where it's not something you have to leave your job. This is something where you, alongside your existing role, alongside the job you're doing, or whatever business you're in, you can do this on the side with minimum time and input, and basically create yourself a residual income, and over a period of time guarantee yourself to become a property millionaire. Now, let me start with a realistic amount of capital. It's all about the £10,000 game over here. So I'm going to start with cash in the bank. Cash of £10,000. £10,000 in equity can buy me a property worth £50,000. Okay? How does that work? Well, I've got an 80% loan from the bank, and 20% is my equity. Now 20% equity means that part over there. Okay? So my 80% over here, that's £40,000, which the bank's giving me, and I've got 20% of my equity, £10,000, which means that putting these two figures together, I can buy that property there for £50,000. Okay? Now, £50,000, I've bought my first property. You'll need a couple of extra thousand on top to cover your legal fees and stamp duty, etc. But ballpark, we're looking at your contribution being £10,000. So £50,000, I've bought my first property. Now, to play this game, right, which is the game of getting your £10,000 to £1 million, what we need is the property market to be rising. Now, all over the world, as an investor today, you've got opportunities all over the world. Not even all over the world. If you want a home in, at least across your country. And somewhere in your country, the property market is rising. Overall, the property market doubles about every 7 years, right? That's, if we look at the historic trends of property, that's what the property market's been doing ever since property prices have been recorded. So what that means is, if property prices are doubling every 7 years, that means you're getting about just over 14% growth per year. Okay? So year one, this is me now. I've got my £50,000 property, right? This £50,000 property in year two, using the law that we already know of historic trends since property records have been being recorded, should be worth £57,000, 140. Okay? Now what I do at this stage is I release equity. Okay? Now an equity release means basically I can get an 80% loan on the value of my property. I initially got that on the £50,000 property. I now get the same 80% loan, but on the higher price of my property, right? So now if I get an 80% loan on the new property price that I have, that now gives me a loan of £45,000, 712. Okay? £40,000 is the additional I have. So the equity release that I received, because I've already got £40,000 out of it, the equity release I'm going to get is going to be £5,712. £5,712. Okay? With this £5,712, I now, in year 2, I'm going to buy another property. Year 2, I've now got £5,712, with which I can buy a property worth £28,000. Okay, so I'll put my 5,012 in as my deposit, or my 20% equity, and I've now got a loan on that property of £22,848. Currently now in year 2, my portfolio is now, from the £10,000 I had, I've now got a portfolio worth $79,988, and I'm just 2 years in. Okay, now I'm going to take this off the board and create a new one. Okay, so let's start recording our property values. Property 1 in year 1 was worth 50k. Year 2 it was worth 57,440.
140.
Year 2 it was worth 57,140. Year 2 we also acquired property 2 for 28k, and now we're moving into year 3. So we're going to keep recording our property values as we're going along as well now. Okay? So now moving into year 3, we now have prop number 1, which is worth 57,140, and our second property worth £28,000. Okay? Using the law of the property market and the data ever since property has been recorded, we're using the same capital growth rates, which is around about 14% per year. So 57,140, let's add in our capital growth. That property is now going to be worth 65,299.59, and our 28,000 property number 2, is going to be worth £31,000, 998.40. So now we've got property number 1 at 65,299, property number 2 at 31,998. Let's go play our game with the bank again, and let's get some more money out of these. So I can now refinance this one at, I can take out 52,239.20, £52,000, 239.20 pence, and on this property at 80% loan to value, I can take out £25,000, 598.72. Okay, so I've already got a loan on this one of 45,712. So when I bring those figures together, that means I'm getting an additional equity out on this one of 6,527.20. That's my equity. Release. And on this one, I can now take out an additional £3,198.72. I'm going to cut these pences out and just go straight to pounds just to keep things easy from here forth. Now, if anybody's sort of lost track on how we're playing this game, I'll just explain to you once again. Let's just, to keep figures easy, let me explain this to you this way. £100,000 property, I can get the bank to give me a loan against that property of 80% of this value over here, which is £80,000. What that means is that I only have to pay the difference between the loan amount and the value of the price, which is £20,000 to buy the property. So I put in 20,000, bank gives me 80,000, I own this property. Now let's assume this property's value increases to £200,000. Okay, I still own the property, it's now worth £200,000. So I go back to my bank again, Mr. Bank over here, and say, right, I now want this 80% on my my £200,000 property. Okay, so that means I can now get a £160,000 loan against the £200,000 property. Right? Well, I've already got £80,000, so what that in essence means is I can get another £80,000 from the bank. Okay, because 160 over here minus the 80 I've already got is £80,000. Now we're playing the game using this additional equity. I've got the £80,000 again in my pocket. I'm going out, I'm buying more property in a good area where prices are rising. As the prices rise, I refinance a year later, take my money out. Now this is me just showing you the model over a year, but realistically, you know, if you buy the right property, if you buy it undervalued and it increases quickly, or you immediately as soon as you buy it, you've got equity in it, it's already undervalued, you can refinance after 3, 4, 6 months, whatever you want. But this is me just keeping things easy, explaining it year by year. You buying property at market value, market rising. If you're playing the game and you're buying below market and you've instantly got equity, you can also play this game. So there's lots of ways, but I'm doing it a simple way that anybody can do it, that a novice can do it, as long as they're working in a rising market. So moving forward from here, we now, in year 3, we have 6,527 plus 3,198. We've got £9,725 to buy a new property. There's 70, 80, there's 92 pence there. You're allowed to keep that. Go and spend it. Buy yourself some sweets. Treat yourself. You deserve it. But the rest of that money, you're investing again. Okay? With that 9,725, you are now going to buy a property worth, prop number 3. Look at this little portfolio you built with £10,000. Isn't it amazing? Of £48,000, 625, right? And you've got a bank debt on that of 38,000, loan 38,900. Okay, so now we've got a new property at 48,625, which we purchased using the equity release from these two properties, and we've now got another house in our portfolio at £48,625. Let's go back to our portfolio sheet, add this new property in, property number 3, welcome to our table, at £48,000, 625. We've also had an increase in the prices over here, so let's factor that in as well. In year 3, 65,299. And now our property number 2 is worth 31,998. So we're already now sitting on a a portfolio of about £150,000 with £10,000 3 years ago. Not bad, eh? Okay, let's keep moving. Now going into year 4. Prop number 1 is 65,299. Prop number 2 31,998, and our beautiful latest edition prop number 3 is 48,625. Now using the same average of how property prices have been growing since data has been recorded, 65,299 plus 14.28%. That means my property is now worth 74,623. Property number 2 is worth 36,567, and property number 3 is worth 55,568. Okay, now we're going to do our equity release model once again. On this property over here, we can now get debt of 59,698. Our existing debt on that is 52,239, which means we can get an equity release of 59,698 minus 52,239, £7,459. On this property over here, we can now refinance this at 80%, which gives us, we can release 29,253. We've already taken out 25,598, which means I can release on this property £3,655. And finally, on our latest property, which is now worth 55,568, I can release a total of 44,454. We've already taken out on that 38,900. So I'm releasing on this one £5,554. Okay, which gives a total working equity $7,459 plus 3,655 plus 5,554 of 13,968. And with that, congratulations, we're about to buy our most expensive property yet. So we can now, using that, buy a property worth, prop number 4, 69,840, which is 20% equity, 20% equity is our 13,968 plus the bank debt of 55,872 equals bank loan. Perfect. Congratulations, property number 4. Now let's go add this to our table. So we've got 74,623 for property number 1. 74,623. We've got property number 2, which is now worth 35,567. We got property number 3, which is now worth 55,568. And we're welcoming property number 4 to the equation, which is our most expensive property yet at 69,840. Fantastic. So we're £10,000 in, that's all we spent to date. We're rolling that money property prices are rising, we're releasing the equity, we're not spending it, we're investing it back in, we're investing it back in. And you know, one really important part of this whole puzzle, which we haven't accounted for, is all of these properties are generating you rental income, right? After you've paid your mortgages off, they're going to be giving you positive cash flow, right? That's a whole different conversation altogether. But this model over here can be expedited and done much more quickly if you're taking that rental income coming in, not spending it, and plugging that back into your investment portfolio as well. This is just us looking at one angle of it, which is either buying undervalued properties and releasing the equity, or working in a rising market and releasing that equity and using it to invest again. When we start looking at the rental income and the residual income you're getting out of it and the profit you're taking out of it, if you're plugging that back in, this whole thing just gets expedited and fast-tracked. Right now we're just assuming every month you're spending that money. Anyways, let's now come back and let's go into year 5. School teacher life. We've got our beautiful portfolio of 4 properties, which we're steadily increasing by 1 property a year. Property number 1. Property number 2. Property number 3. And property number 4. So prop number 1 is worth £74,623. Prop number 2 is worth £35,567. Property number 3 is worth £55,568. And our last property we bought it for £69,840. These properties are now going to be worth $85,279. $40,645. I love this property over here. I love this property over here. Our little cheap property, little black sheep of the family, steadily rising over there, hitting £40,000, making its way from the back. And then we've got property number 3, which is now worth £63,503, and property number 4, which is now worth £79,813. We're going to refinance this one, 85,279. We can refinance that at £68,000, 223. Our previous debt on that one was $59,698, which means we can release equity of $8,255. Beautiful. On the black sheep, which is steadily making its way up, we can now refinance this at 32 and release 32,516. Our previous debt on that was 28,453, which now means we can release on that property £4,063. On property number 3, we can refinance at £50,802. Our existing debt on that one is £44,454. Give us an equity release on that of $6,348. Our latest addition, our golden egg on the portfolio so far, the most expensive property, we can now refinance this one and pull out $63,850. We currently have a debt on that property of 872, which means we can release 7,978 on that property. Very good. That gives us a total equity to play with. (8255, 4063, 6348, and 7978) of £26,000 £644. We can buy a property number 5. We're going to buy now, worth £133,000 220, with bank loan or debt on that of £110,000 576. Okay, so going into year 6, we've now got property number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Beautiful, nice little portfolio we've got ourselves here. Property number 1, which was 85,279. Using the exact same law of average on property prices increasing, is now going to be worth £97,456. Property number 2, on this property we can now refinance it at 80% again and release £77,000 964.80. We've got an existing debt on that property of £68,000 223, which means we now can release an extra £9,745 on this. Release equity. Property number 2 was worth 4645, which has now increased to £46,449, which means we can refinance that and release £37,159, which means we can release equity on that one of £6,643. Property number 3 was worth 63,503. In year 6 it's worth £75,000 571. Which means we could release on that one £58,000 and 56. We've got an existing debt on that property at 50,802, which means we're releasing on that another £7,254. Property number 4 was worth 79,813. In year 6 it's worth £91,000 210. On that 91,210 we can release We can get financing of 72,968. Take away our existing debt on the property, which is 63,850, and on that property we're releasing £9,118. Finally, our golden egg, the first £100,000 plus property we bought. That property, which was worth 133,220 last year, is going to be worth £152,000 243. We can refinance that at £121,000 795, minus the existing debt we've got on that, which is 110,576. Means we can release equity on that one of 121,798 minus 11,222. Total equity to play with £43,000 982. Now just hold that figure for a second. I'm going to come on to the next page again. So we're still in year 6. We've got the equity of 43,982. Using that, we can buy a property, our property number 6, of £219,000 1910, with debt / loan on that property of £175,000 928. So moving into year 7, we've now got 6 properties. Property number 1, last year it was worth £97,000 456. This property is now worth £111,372. As we said, using our average that property prices double every 7 years, this property which we bought at 50,000 has officially doubled now, and it's worth twice the money 7 years from day one. So our average, the law of average, the law of the property market, the law of since property prices have been recorded, is working exactly how it should. In 7 years the price has doubled. We can now, on this property, we can refinance at 80%. We can take out £89,098. Our previous debt on the property was £77,000 964, which means we can release equity of £11,000 134. Property number 2, the black sheep of the family, but doing well, was worth 46,449 last year. This property is now going to be worth £53,000 081. which means we can refinance it to release £42,000 465. Existing debt on that property is £37,000 159, which means the total equity we can release on that one is £5,306. Property number 3, 72, last year was worth 72,571. Now coming into year 7, it's worth £82,000 934. We can release on that £66,000 347. Our previous debt on that property was £58,000 and 56 pence, which means we can release equity on this one of 8,291. Property number 4, we're now at 91,210 last year. It's now worth £104,000 and 234. We can release equity on that, refinance it at £83,000 387. Let's take away the existing debt we have on the property, which is 72,968. That now leaves us with £10,419 in equity. Property number 5, our first property that we bought that was over £100,000. Last year was worth 152,543. This year it's going to be worth £174,000 326. We can refinance that and release £139,000 460. Last year we had already got financing on that one at £122,000 and 34 pence, which means we're releasing on this property £17,000 426. And finally, the golden egg of the property portfolio so far, our biggest one, last year was worth 175,290. This year it should be worth £200,000 321. We can refinance that to take out £160,000 257. Take away the existing debt we've got on the property of £140,000 232, and that leaves us with equity on this property that we've now taken out of £20,025. Now we're talking about some good sizable numbers, starting with our £10,000 just 7 years ago. We're currently now starting to play with some really big numbers. Let's see what we're working with this year. We have now got total equity of £72,000 601. Another very important point, let me just come back to that now again. In this whole calculation, what we're not calculating is a very important part of it: rental income. All of these properties over here, they are generating you positive cash flow every single year. We haven't accounted for that. That money, we're just assuming you're either spending it, you're using it for property maintenance works, whatever you might be doing with it. You've got a big pool of money sitting over there, a big cushion over there with which you can be doing all sorts of different things. Realistically, you can expedite this model by using all the profit from your rental income to reinvest it and reinvest it. But at the moment, we're just assuming you're using that money as profit for yourself, as a cushion, just for a rainy day, or keeping it aside for maintenance and repair works that you may need to do on these properties from time to time. But even accounting for all that, you should be still having a significant amount of money left over from that pool as well. Anyway, so we've now got 72,601 in equity. Using that, we can buy a property, our property number 7, lucky number 7, of £363,000, £363,005. The debt / loan we took from the bank on this one is £290,000, 404. I've got a strange feeling in year 7 we have hit our £1 million portfolio. Let's do our maths on this one. Yeah? Year 1, we started with £10,000. Our goal, create a £1 million property portfolio using only this £10,000 over here. No more cash. Using this 10,000, how do we make this into a £1 million portfolio? I think in year 7 we've managed to do that. So let's now do our calculations. Property number 1 is worth 111,372. Property number 2 is worth 53,081. Property number 3 is worth 82,934. Property number 4 is worth 104,234. Property number 5 is worth 174,236. No, sorry, 326. 326. Property number 6 is worth 200,321, and property number 7 is worth 363,005. Okay, this is magic number time. Let's see where we get with this one. Have we succeeded in our aim of creating a £1 million property portfolio with just £10,000? This portfolio, starting with just £10,000 in 7 years, would be worth £1,089,273. A £1 million portfolio in 7 years using just £10,000. Now let me tell you something very interesting about this portfolio. Right now, you've got leverage on this of 80%. So you've got debt on this of 80%. So your total debt is 871,418.40. You're going to be, on average, you could probably get lending on this at around about 3%. Based on that, you're going to be paying every single year £26,000, £142 in interest. A portfolio like this, with a lot of properties at lower price points, you're realistically going to be at least yielding an average across the board of 5%, if not more. You should be doing 6, but at least 5% across the board, because you're buying good cheap properties in good locations, right? So 5% yield you're making on this portfolio, which means you're getting an annual rental of £54,000, 463. Take away your interest payments. Every single year, you're making yourself £28,000, 321. Positive cash flow in your pocket. You've got £1 million property portfolio. You started that with £10,000, and you've also created yourself an income every single year, a hands-off income while you're doing your job, while you're doing your business, of £28,000, 321 every single year. Now this income has been coming to you for the last 7 years. Not this amount, but lesser every single year. We just haven't calculated that in there, right? So you create yourself a residual income of that, and you've got yourself a nice £1 million portfolio which you can continue to grow. Guys, these are the principles that I use when I'm investing into property. I don't always, in this we're using a very basic situation of the market rising and us re-releasing equity again, market rising, release equity again. The game I play is, I'm not waiting for the market to rise, I look for undervalued properties. So something that's already, let's say for example the property is worth £1 million, I'm already looking to buy that £800,000, so that I don't have to wait for the market to rise. I've got instant equity in there which I can release. But this is the game I play. This is the way I manage my personal investments and my personal portfolio. I've given you guys the secret today. I've shown you how it's done. Everybody can do this, and you don't need to have hundreds of thousands or millions of pounds start. That's all you need. You need £10,000 to start your £1 million portfolio today. Thank you.